Hi everyone, thanks to those who watched my first movie review. I hope you enjoyed it. Obviously it's still rough around the edges, something new that I'm trying out. So hopefully over the next few videos I kind of improve the craft and hopefully make some decent videos out of it. Today I will be reviewing The Snowman.
We're walking in the air.
So The Snowman is directed by Thomas Alfredson. He also directed Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. The film is actually based on a book by Joe Nesbo, who has written a collection of stories based around the character Harry Hole. It's a shame they've kind of chosen to start by making these books into films over halfway through. I think The Snowman is 7th in the list of the Harry Hole stories, because when it starts you feel like the characters have already been established, but you don't really know much about them still. You kind of feel like you're missing out on a lot of information. The movie stars Michael Fassbender and Rebecca Ferguson. There's quite a few other names in the film as well, but none of them really feature as strongly as these two. Michael Fassbender's character, Harry, when you first meet him, you don't really like him much, and I don't think that actually changes throughout the film at all. His character is just kind of there. And as he's the main character, that's kind of stupid. You need your character to do something, to feel something, to act a certain way and understand why he's acting a certain way. He just seems to be caught up in the middle of everything that's going on, but not in an interesting way. He doesn't really seem to have an impact on the actual story. It's the same with Rebecca Ferguson's character. Her character just kind of comes out of nowhere. There's no really explanation for why she's there. And when she is, her main story arc as a character has already started, but you're not really interested because you don't have any backstory, and there's no really backstory about her built. There's backstory to her character, but it doesn't really serve her character. It serves more the past of which she was brought up in. And it kind of gets interlinked with the main storyline about the Snowman serial killer. That just feels like it's wasted time. It feels like if they did want to really flesh this out, then it could have been an entire film by itself. It feels like the film really should have been drawn out longer into 3 different films. There's different storylines that are running throughout this entire film that just doesn't feel like any of them have the time they deserve to really get the most out of them. The direction was a bit boring, to be honest. Some of it was very basic. There were some shots, especially at the beginning, the opening, that were absolutely stunning. The snow-covered mountains in Norway looked absolutely beautiful. But then there were scenes, especially the scenes where you would see like the serial killer stalking or attacking his victims, which were far and few between. They just seemed a bit amateurish. It wasn't like the director knew what he was doing. It wasn't like he wanted to show violence on screen, but it wasn't like he wanted to hide away from it. It was very weird. I think you could kind of tell that this guy hadn't really directed a thriller before. Not a thriller to do with a serial killer anyway. It just was a bit confusing. The big reveal to who the serial killer was very predictable as well. I guessed it halfway through, and I don't think anyone else was really surprised either. The film definitely thinks it's a lot more cleverer than it is, which I think is very obvious in the fact that it tries to shock you and surprise you with who the killer is. Unfortunately, at just under 2 hours long, this film did feel long. I checked the time a few times, which is a sign for me that normally I'm bored and I think the film's crap. Also, Val Kilmer pops up in the film, and it's kind of distracting because when you see him, it took me a couple of minutes to actually realise who it was, and then it was just distracting because something doesn't look right. You know, people change, but there was something about that man that just did not look good in this film.
Drag her, slay her, read her, sipping on that true tea, hunty. This is giving me life, hunty.
There was a few good things I liked in the film. Charlotte Gainsbourg's in the film, which I always enjoy watching. She was fantastic in Antichrist, although that's coming from a Lars von Trier fan. And also the scenery just looked absolutely beautiful. You can't deny the scenery in Norway looking stunning, and they really captured that really well on film. Unfortunately, I didn't really enjoy this film. I thought it sucked a lot. So I'm only going to give it 2 out of 5. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and then you can see more videos coming from me soon. Thanks.